fans, welcome back for game number 3 here at the North American Challenger League Season 2. I'm Egad, and joining me here for the rest of this cast is going to be Studio for potentially, I don't think these compositions are allowing anybody to invade.
I mean, there's always a possibility. You can always just try and catch someone and say, hey, we're in this bush. By the way, you walked into it and you died.
Flash!
But there is a possibility of invade from LMQ because of the Annie pickup. Annie will have to keep charging her stun as she moves, which she doesn't seem to be doing, actually. Has not picked up a skill yet, so this might just be an aggressive invade, kind of relying on that actual surprise sense and damage. They will be spotted out by Glebe Garby, though, who will not take the resonating strike and be A-okay.
Take a little bit of damage there from the Piltover Peacemaker. Vasily got to make sure he gets that harass in with that Caitlyn. So, first blood drawn there. And
the first blow.
Yeah, first blow is drawn. Okay, no first blood just yet. But yeah, everybody's spreading out. 5-point spread. Nothing too big going to be coming out of this one. Everybody covering all the entrances. And with the minions spawning very soon, we're going to look to see as I think it's going to be a relatively safe jungler start for both sides.
Yeah, we could see aggressive jungle from No Name come out eventually, but I would expect, a level 3 gank versus some sort of crazy, let's hit level 2 and just run somewhere.
Level 2 blue Lee Sin ganks.
Yeah, hey man. Reduce cooldown on the Tempest cripple combo, so there you go. They're slowed forever. But with these lanes, there's a lot of gank potential at specific times. For example, once Jax hits level 2, the Tempest slow from Lee Sin's going to make him get a lot more auto attacks in, especially when combined with the Counter-Strike stun. And there'll also be a huge spike at level 6. So there are certain timings they're looking for. I would expect maybe an early gank onto Bishu, just if they see him use any of his skills for CS. But really not a whole lot in terms of major options, besides maybe some of the 2v2s or just catching someone out of position.
Cheeky. Bishu was just sitting on the side there, poking out with the sword as it does reach over the wall. More, though, going to get spotted out by the okay, going to see them there. Going to throw out the fireball. And they do actually successfully pull off a nice amount of poke there with that Incinerate and the Piltover Peacemaker. So that was a really good cheese, and we're going to look to see what Moore can do as he does keep on pressuring with those Incinerates. And that's going to be really hard for Lucian to CS when he just keeps getting fireballs right to the face.
I really, really enjoy that style. Go ahead, harass him early on, so you just can't they can't respond well to harass because you have to sustain from the early burst. And now Moore just went up and he kept swinging fireball, kept swinging disintegrates, and kept getting extra harass on just to try and delay the fight coming out of Cloud9 Tempest. So that means more free CS for Vasily. Maybe they'll push him on up. In the top lane, Yuzuki, aka Lomo Nation, kind of trading with Ackerman right now. Both hit level 2 at about the same time, so no crazy level 2 power play. But the early Counter-Strike from Jax let him get a lot of auto attacks and actually kind of win out that first exchange. Counter-Strike does you really good level 1 damage.
And looking towards mid, we haven't really talked about it too much. The Yasuo Kha'Zix matchup, very interesting. Level 6 is where things start to get really fun because you get that knockup and the ultimate from Yasuo, as well as the stealth and the potentially evolved claws. We do see Ackerman in Lomo Nation still going at it, but that's just the way this top lane rolls. And already the potion was used out there by the side of Yuzuki, and there's a very sustaining build for Ackerman, who is abusing that flask and the red pots to just sustain it through like crazy.
Yeah, in the top lane, Ackerman will have a little bit of trouble right now, but he's limited on mana. We do see Lee Sin towards the mid lane, though. Could be looking for a gank, but Yasuo will be nice and safe. Has lots of dashes, has lots of ways to escape any sort of dangerous situation. Though Wai Zhao is taking quite a bit of harass in the mid lane.
Ooh, the poke coming in from that Q is just so strong. And Altec and the Glebe Glover having a little bit of a rough time. They're reinforced underneath their turret. We do see No Name heading down there. But there's no way they're going to go for like a level 3 dive right now. They're not that low from the side of C9, but there's going to be a dive up top. Ackerman going to force the flash, chase him down with Ignite. And is his Ignite going to be enough from the side of Lomo Nation? Oh! The minion damage is going to be enough to make it a 1-for-1 trade. Now Kev's coming in invisible. It's going to be Wei Zhao leaping away. Gets the Q poke, drops the Ignite, and that's going to be a kill for Bishu. The wind wall comes in. No Name's in a bad spot. Going to be slowed down, forced to run away, gets chunked out by that Q, but it's not going to be enough to take him down. That's globally a 2-for-1. Cloud and HyperX with a very strong showing for this first 4 minutes.
I mean, great dive in the top lane by Ackerman. A lot of CS will be denied to Yuzuki. Still a trade in his favor. You can see the 7 CS advantage, and actually a different start from Yuzuki's going for the Vampiric Scepter and early sustain, rather than just building up straight up tanky, as you would see quite often. Great trade onto Altec in the bot lane as well, and they're just really kind of losing this bot lane. Just the heavy push and heavy harass from Moore and Vasily's really built up on them, as you can already see a significant 10 CS lead. When it's only 5 minutes in, that lead can be quite a bit. However, mid lane, Wai Zhao just doesn't have an option versus Yasuo. He's behind by only 3 CS.
He's got Zeal now, too.
Yeah, and it's that early Yasuo burst, that constant Yasuo harass, the fact that he also doesn't depend on mana, so you can go a little bit crazier with his skills. It makes it so much harder for Zhao to kind of maintain that aggressive lane, especially when you do have a little bit more reliable range, I'd say, on Yasuo with some of those whirlwinds.
Apparently everybody having a little bit of a lag problem, but hopefully they'll get situated very soon, and we'll be back into the game. And even though there were those kills early on, it's only about a 200 gold deficit for the side of LMQ. And there's just, he's saying, how's his day? He's like, why are you 250 ping? It's just funny banter back and forth. But
I think LMQ are just saying, like, we're lagging more, take that.
It's the battle of who's lagging harder. But I'm interested to see the team fighting stage of this game. Like the mid stage, like maybe 15-20 minutes when they start trying to contest dragons and position for barons and tower pushes. The dive from Cloud9 Hyperx Tempest is going to be so strong, and
it's high damage Hyperx dive. There's not a lot of tanky targets on LMQ right now. It's gonna be a little bit from Ackerman with Counter-Strike, but like Zhao will be squishy, Vasily and Moore of course will be squishy, and if No Name doesn't really get the ball rolling, a Lee Sin that is
if you
behind
Spear
is
the
not
Elder
very
Lizard when he's
tanky.
behind,
Yeah,
it's gonna be really rough. But we'll see what they want to do. They do have a really phenomenal late game. Caitlyn, Jax, and Kha'Zix so strong in that late stage of the game. It looks like they're saying that they're ready to go. So hopefully we'll be loading in. There we go. 3 seconds left on that resume, and we're good to go. And we're back with this game as...
Oh!
Nah, we're kidding. But he keeps lagging. Looks like it's okay. We'll wait just a little bit longer. And
it was actually a JK too as well. It's like, whoop, nope, not working. We thought it was, but not quite.
my 290. Oh my god.
Oh god, every time someone says a ping, someone else on the other team will just say their ping is 20 higher. I don't know if it's serious or not.
I feel like it's just a joke.
Yeah.
All right, so what is there to speculate on here? With the way this bot lane's going, it's kind of going to be snowballing heavily in favor of LMQ. There's already that 12 deficit for Altec. It's slowly been rolling into Vasily's favor, and he's kind of just taking the lead with that one. Let's see how much gold he's got. He's got 960. He's going to probably stay up for that BF sword and just try to make the Bloodthirster Last Whisper combo and just poke you down for days. And Annie, man, just putting in the work in this lane. Moore is doing a good job.
Annie being Annie. Like,
Yeah.
that is a
Auto attack cute.
really aggressive offensive Annie. It's cool to see because, like, at some levels you'll see Annie just use her stun and not really auto attack harass and just focus on getting the burst combo down, which is okay. It's a safe way to play her, very defensive, but going out for all the offense that Moore is doing right now, he's making it so that Lulu can't play defensively or aggressively. She has to play, just catch the Annie.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even like she's trying to protect Lucian. She's just trying to stop Annie at all. So Caitlyn can auto-attack harass. Caitlyn can press forward with her build up her Peacemaker. She can push, and Caitlyn's not being stopped and cannot be stopped by Lucian just due to the range differences. So it's Annie controlling Lulu, who in turn means that Caitlyn is out of control because bot lane gets kind of weird with
2v1
synergies. Yeah.
Moore is just 2v1ing on Annie, apparently. And he's also not running out of mana, so I'm assuming he's quite a bit of mana regen. He's been poking out with Qs and Ws very frequently. And let's see.
Disintegrate does have a cheap mana cost early on. That's been a lot of his spam.
If you do pick off like a CS or two, you could refresh that mana because you do end up making the cost null and you have the mana regen, you're fine. But it looks like we're actually back into this game. Hopefully the lag is done. And Ackerman and not Lemonation. Oh my god, I don't know why I call him Lemonation. But Yazuki just trading evenly up there. And
It's Lomo Nation, please, please.
But they actually did end up picking a Vamp Scepter to the potential makings of a Fade tracker. I mean, so it looks like the Trinity Force rush for him.
Yeah, it could be. The normal, I'd say, standard build for Jax would be Trinity Force into Blade of the Rune King, and some order of that. Zhao takes a lot of damage, as this time it's Ackerman's turn to pause. The pause is across the board, is kind of bouncing between both sides. But
servers, please. I think ranked is still disabled too. If I
that's a
check on the
possibility,
client, right?
yeah.
So same 260 ping. Everybody's just lagging. Oh man. Oh well, it's okay. But there's not much to speculate on just yet. It does look like there actually is that Spirit of the Elder Lizard rush for No Name, as well as it's going to be the same for Kevs on the Wukong. I don't think we're going to see Ancient Golem for him. Static Shiv, obviously the same route that Yasuo always goes as his first item, then IE, and then she's like, I'm going to blow you up in 2 shots, and then everybody dies.
Yeah, it's the solid, fun, kill you instantly build from Yasuo. Always fun to see if you're not playing against him and they don't have a lot of knockups. So looking at just the team comps, though, it's going to – what do you think the big Dragon Fight's going to come? Because I think I'm waiting for that maybe like 9-10 minutes or just based off a gank.
When the junglers are 6, I'm assuming that they're going to try to make some power play and then try to rotate over if it goes successfully. If it doesn't, though, obviously you can see the team countering out that as both these teams are very knowledgeable and very strong in their rotations. So I think you're about right in your prediction. I think we can see it around that time. So maybe earlier, if there's an early Spirit of the Yellow Lizard for either side, they could try to rush it out. But other than that, just make the power play in mid or bot and then rotate around. Assuming that bot lane's like healthy and mid's healthy, obviously, then they can rotate for like 3v4.
Yeah.
Baron, oh my god, Dragon.
Both sides seem like they can really easily pick up kills in both lanes. For example, Annie doesn't have an escape. Caitlyn will probably be able to get out of any sort of gank right now. But if you could pick off the support, if you pick off that raw initiator from Annie to disable the Tibbers, that makes taking Dragon so much easier. And while Yasuo does have escape, he is a squishy champion once you get past his initial shield. So if they blow his flow, then they can go ahead and afterwards just try and burst him down very quickly.
All right, and with the push and the pressure on the turret, it's going to take quite a bit of damage here. They do actually use the NACL Burnett Peacemaker combination, but Cleveland shields out that. Peacemaker, does get a stun underneath the turret, but does take a turret shot. But actually, No Name was up top. That ward jump not as smooth as we've seen from most Lee Sins. And
I feel like there could have been some latency with that one.
Yeah, you see the ward come on, he's like, W? Hello? Hello? And did it a little late, but
a little unfortunate. But Yazuki
I keep
does
wanting to call him Lemon.
It's what he wants, and you know you got to give him credit. It is a pretty good name to trip people up.
Oh boy! But now that Beast is level 6, if he does end up hitting that tornado for the knockup, we will be looking to see that ultimate follow-up instantly. Altec gonna get ignited, but Moore was tanking turret shots. That is one manly Annie. Ackerman though gets the stun up top, harassing down Yazuki, doing a ton of damage to him with level 6 achieved. He could look for the turret dive if Lee Sin's around, but no, Lee Sin is at Wraiths. And we're going to see Glebro holding off this turret by himself while the side of Altec does end up going back to bases. He was just chunked out so fast.
I mean, we are seeing Ackerman take control of the top lane, which it very commonly happens. But because Shyvana does have that Vampiric Scepter, when she's at her own turret, she actually has a chance to sustain back up. So even though it's not necessarily the safest lane, if Yazuki can sustain, it actually has all his cooldowns, which they're all about to fall, but Ackerman does not get the Leap Strike. No,
so you Leap Striked in on the minion, and then tried to get the counter strike for the stun, but not in range, and you know, just that burnout so fast. Gets him out of there just in time. Level 6 is now achieved for both junglers after No Name finishes his red up. He will be at level 6 and have the Dragon's Rage. We do have the Whirlwind for Kevs now, and it looks like there's going to be a ward that actually spots him out. So maybe attempting a dive, but the counter gank from No Name is going to be there and relevant. So we'll see how they want to counter out this play from Kevs.
This could be the 2v2. The question is, who's got a stronger 2v2? Both junglers and top have ults, like you said, so lots of damage all around. Why is Zhao going aggressive on the Bishu, though?
All right, trying to use that passive for a lot of damage. We do see Lomo Nation going to be able to drag his Ascent out and safeguard away. As No Name as an Ignite dropped on the Bishu. He does not connect the Q. Wei Zhao's waiting in the wings. Does not have Flash, does not have Ignite, so maybe just does not want to risk the fight against him, or maybe he does. Does the tornado? He gets the ultimate! He snipes him out with that knockup. That was a phenomenally well played knockup and ultimate by Bishu on that Yasuo, and Wei Zhao just kind of overextended. He wasn't even on his side of the river. He was on Bishu's side, and for that, bot lane falls. Which
probably gave him the vision to actually spot out Wei Zhao there. And very, very unfortunate for Wei Zhao, but he did take that long bait. He did sit there for quite a while. I've been waiting for the leap reset before he engaged, but now a significant lead going to go towards Cloud9 Tempest. That mid turret does go down, but guess what? Support and AD carry coming towards that mid lane. You can't dodge a Tibbers with wind wall either, but it's going to be a little bit too late for that, unfortunately.
However, you just hear her yell Tibbers and nothing comes out.
You see the bear like bonk off, fly off the wind wall.
All right, but that's going to be a turret for a turret. Tier 1 mid, Tier 1 bot. It kind of taking on that Tier 1 mid, though, is more important than is one of the more prioritized turrets on the map. It looks like there's going to be a 4-man rotation towards this Dragon, as well as Ackerman just doing a ton of damage up top against Yazuki. Does get the counter strike, does get a bunch of damage, and Ignite is dropped. He flashes forward auto.
That should be it.
Oh, man, Yazuki, that flash was a little
It was a reactionary flash, but it's hard to react like that, especially when you're dealing with Jax's very fast auto attack.
Yeah.
Dragon who's going to go towards.
It's going to be over to No Name. Kevs is going to get kicked away. He whirlwinds. It's a knockup out of No Name. They blow him up. They're trying to save Kevs. They do get the knockup from the Giant Growth, as well as it's a nice two-man stun from Moore. They're going to flash after Wei Zhao. They get Vasily. They get the knockup, a flash over the wall for Altec, but Glebe Glover picks up that kill. Vasily going to be the next target? No. All right. They give up the chase after that one. They go 2 for none. And they do end up losing Dragon, and now a tier 1 up top. So in the end, the gold lead and the advantage is still over to LMQ.
I mean, gold was it even for a second, even though
the ult! Oh, the wind wall, nice.
The wind wall and the Wukong clone would have actually both blocked that out. So good responses from Cloud9 Tempest there. Not a lot of options that it could have hit, but hey, just in case.
Ackerman, man.
It's Ackerman. That is just the Ackerman playstyle. Once he gets ahead, he does not fall behind. Gold once again dead even, so a really weird balance. There's very specific champions on both sides that are very powerful. Caitlyn, for example, has a lot of CS over Lucian, and Lucian, even with the 2 assists, the turrets and the dragon actually balances it out. So he's still behind by about 30 CS. Top lane Ackerman is clearly in the lead. He is looking really damn good up there. Pretty close to finishing his Triforce actually. So that is going to be the next. Actually, I believe
he doesn't have enough.
Not quite enough. No, he's going to have the Phage and Zeal components, but not quite that finisher. But they're reaching a point where, you know, Wei Zhao not too strong. The question is, will he still be useful in team fights? Will he still be able to get resets and get enough burst off? Yeah,
he's got a pickaxe. He's making towards this Hydra. Oh, Ackerman actually didn't go back to base here. Trying to be cheeky and zone away Yazuki even more, as he does have a 2-level lead. That is really hard to come back from, and Yuzuki has a long way to go before he can be as relevant as Jax. No Name, though. Going to get cut off by Kevs here. Going to get, actually, auto-attack quite a bit there. Does get smacked with the pole. Oh, Bishu. Actually, no, not going to throw out the Trino. Not look for a knock-up in the ultimate. So they will back on out of there. Moore and Glebe Glover are currently roaming heavily. They're looking for some deep wards. They're going to look to go in here. There's a nice whirlwind on it, too. The knockup from the Giant Growth actually didn't end up connecting. Oh, a flash in from Bishu gets kicked away underneath the turret. But where is the Annie? Where is the Kha'Zix? They're actually rotating up right now. Ackerman and No Name are going to head back into the fight. There was a nice knockup by Bishu, but a flash forward that blocked the spikes with the wall. Moore is looking for a Tibbers. Lomo Nation on the side. The Tibbers does connect to the Bishu. Nobody else is following up besides Annie. There's going to be the shields coming in from the Lulu, and the Sonic Wave Resonating Strike combination does connect, but he gets a shield from his passive to stop the Tempest cripple damage, and luckily he gets out of there. Altec now using his ultimate to clear out the wave. That culling coming in. Is he going to actually chase down Vasily? That was the question. Looks like he's going to go back to farming, and out of that whole exchange,
no one died. No one. Completely even across the board at 0 for 0. I guess the pink ward will go down, so salutations, pink ward.
30 gold.
Did give vision to Kez earlier, but so great escape from both No Name and Ackerman. No Name immediately flashed away over the wall, got himself safe, got himself into a position where Ackerman could leap over the wall to his own safety, and then the flash follow from Bishu almost picked up the kill. But it was a very disjointed, drawn-out fight, which meant the high move speed from Lee Sin and Jax really came into play for the escape. And Annie, she did actually catch out Yasuo with that last little pixel of the Tibbers bomb, but you know, trying to chase down a Yasuo who does have that mobility, even though he does not have wind wall up, it's so difficult. He's a fast champion. He's a mobile champion. It's just someone that's so hard to lock down when he starts slipping away.
Yeah, especially when you have infinite dashes. Well, not infinite dashes, but every time you hit one minion, then you can't dash them again. But
they're theoretically finite. Let's be honest here.
You can eventually just wait it out, but in a fight like that, you're able to just dash out constantly and make good use of the mobility that he has. We do see some wards coming in deep on the blue side as Ackerman does not want to get ganked out or caught out by Kebs. We do see No Name picking up the red, so maybe looking for another power play with the Lee Sin. His kick is available to him. He does not have flash, so we'll see what he does with what he has. There's a minute and 50 left on the Dragon, though, as that could be the next target, and still just the minor 700 gold lead in favor of LMQ.
Now, what this does mean is that at the moment, Cloud9 Tempest does not have enough damage for Ackerman, at least to burst him down quickly in those small skirmishes. So they need to look for probably the bigger team fights, the bigger AoE combos, so that they're also trying to hit, let's say, Vasily, also trying to hit more in those big team fights, trying to burst them down as well. Because in a 5-on-5, if they get the good initiation, they should be able to crush, but right now, in a straight-up 2v2 or 3v3, they just don't have the numbers, they just don't have the DPS for those tankier targets.
You'd be surprised. Some crits could definitely just shred through anybody, and they're not that tanky. There's literally no armor on anybody just yet from the side of LMQ.
Lee Sin too fast. Ackerman's got that art. Pressing the Grandmaster's Might on Jax.
Oh,
makes
yes.
him so tanky.
That's right. I forgot. All right, so a little bit tankiness, like you said. Okay, I'm wrong.
Enough to survive right now.
Okay, for now.
Next big purchases, they'll be able to go for those small skirmishes, but I mean, like the last small skirmish ended up in 0 deaths for both sides in that
very
weird
even.
chase.
Yeah, that was really fun to see.
I like that. I like that. I want to see more of those. Just yakety sacks all across the map.
All right, blue buff. Not going to go over to Wei Zhao. No Name did end up spiting that one away. It's like, no, mine for now. And they're kind of prepping towards that dragon side. They know when it's going to be up from the side of LMQ. Ackerman, though, wow. That was a ton of damage coming in from that smack from, not the lamppost this time. I don't know if that is a trident.
Jax eventually started getting dual weapons, and that's when the League of Legends canon just got too confusing.
All right, and we're going to look to see pink wards come through. Clear out that brush, and 10 seconds left. They're going to be rotating around. I wouldn't be surprised if Ackerman just stayed up top and kept pressuring Yazuki as he is right now. They force out the Cutlass, so that's not going to be up for the next fight. And a dive, I think, is imminent for this top lane, while mid lane it does look like Mishu and Altec still just getting ready to rotate towards Dragon as it has spawned.
Wei Zhao is very far off from this, so this is going to be a lot of close time, personal time for Cloud9 with the Dragon. They may not be able to pick it up, but and if they do, I mean, Wei Zhao's going to get there way too late.
All right, we do see the flash of the whirlwind coming in the knockups onto that Annie right now. She's going to get blown up. That's going to be a kill over to Bishu, who is currently 3-0. Giant Growth comes in. They're going to slow down No Name, who is going to be caught in a precarious spot, and it's going to be Altec to pick up the kill and the double buffs, as now Dragon should be relatively free for the side of Cloud9 HyperX. And Wei Zhao trying to clear out the pink ward, though. Kebs was pressuring him, thought that they were going to go in on this one. They're going to look to clear out the ward. There it is. The passive actually does work on that ward for some reason, as it does not work on the other wards. But there it is. Second Dragon of the game over to Cloud9.
Cloud9 Tempest getting that gold lead, up 5 kills, up by 1.2k gold. Not a massive lead, but it's something, showing that they still have that really big team fight and really big catch potential. As like once more, No Name and Vasily were caught out. They had no choice but to run. Like, at least an ultimate almost saved No Name towards the end of the fight, but just no chance to actually disengage from such a massive AoE team fight like that. And it's 1-1 in Dragons. Very even across the board in terms of objectives. And really, it's the kills that are sending Cloud9 Tempest ahead, and it's the CS lead that is keeping LMQ a little bit more equal. As you can see, it's 50 CS advantage for Caitlyn in the bot lane, and 26 for Kha'Zix in the mid lane. Shyvana has caught up, though. Yeah,
I was surprised. Yazuki caught up very hard in this top lane, even being down after that turret dive and missing a whole huge wave. We do see the Hydra actually completed out there for Wei Zhao, so going to be doing a ton of damage to that. Looking at a Last Whisper as his next item. We do see the Zeal picked up with the Bloodthirster for Vasily, so Altec is actually keeping up with that kill. He's got the gold from the Dragon as well. Illumination still trading with Ackerman up top. Glebe Glabu does get the Whimsy. That's the Cutlass to chase this one down. There was the Help Picks and the Glitter Lance. He's going to chase this one down and get kicked out for his trouble. No Name is going to be the target. He's looking for the jump over the wall, but Illumination is there, and he will pick up the kill as Yazuki, with some smart positioning, does pick it up with those Twin Fangs. And I don't know what it's called, the Dragon's form actually, but he will pick it up. Bishu and Kev's having some great synergy with that Wukong ultimate and the Yasuo ulti.
Yeah, Yasuo down 3-0-4. Getting even scarier.
Nice
Ackerman.
Smite. That was a really good smite.
Ackerman just doesn't care.
He doesn't have flash.
Yeah, he might die here. He has to leap to a ward, leap to something, but doesn't have his strength
dead.
available. He's going down.
Wow, all right. So a little overextending there. Bishu now going to go into Wei Zhao. Going to force him to use his ultimate or something. But Moore comes in with the stun. The Giant Growth comes through. The Tempest is not enough. They're chasing down the Wei Zhao. Is he going to jump back over the wall? It looks like yes. He's trying to shoot this one out, but he is slowed. And Altec is on the other side, but he gets blown up. A ton of damage comes in, and No Name looks for it, but he flashes and barriers away. Altec able to get out of there and make that a 2 for none. The snipe goes into Glebe Glabu. He does not care. He is fully healthy. Well, not anymore, but he was fully healthy. And that was a very nice exchange for Cloud9.
Oh, so the most important thing there is for a second when Glebe Glabu had the ultimate onto him, he almost turned to duck behind
Altec. It's like, here, take this.
Might have actually died from that. Then he realized, wait, no, let's not do this. But great fight from Cloud9. I mean, LMQ, they're playing like they own the map, and they might have a little while ago, but you know, Ackerman going for the 1v1 steal of that
Lance. It does connect. Altec's going to channel the calling. And then, a beautiful two-man Incinerate comes in from Moore. That was very close to being killed. Bishu gonna dash the minions? No, okay. We're gonna see some high level.
He was looking for it. He was definitely looking for it. But trying to play a little bit safer.
Like, guys, can I? He's like, no.
Come on, let me do it. But I mean, LMQ played like they owned a bit too much of the map. That last team fight, they were coming in one at a time, more or less the entire time, and you cannot play against a team as good as Cloud9 Tempest like that. For that split, constant 1v4, 1v3 action, it's not going to end with anything good. I think for a brief moment they had a 2v4 where Moore was backing up Wai Zhao as he tried to escape, but then it was great rotation, great grouping from Cloud9 Tempest, who were just there to back up their own team faster.
Can Lemonade? Oh my God! Can Yazuki actually trade now? He's got the Cutlass and a Sunfire cape to the Trinity Force of Ackerman, so I'm feeling like he actually can. But we're going to see right now, the crit comes in. Oh, Kevs is coming in to make this a 2v1. Dragon's Ascent goes through. The Ignite is down. Bishu's coming in from the side. Can Ackerman make it a 1-for-1? He's got the W ready. Trades it, and then turnaround from Yazuki gets him the auto attack, and Bishu comes in with the dashes, picks it up with the auto. And that is going to be a 3v1 to take down Ackerman and just keep Yazuki alive, while Vasilian Altec, looks like Altec's on the winning end of this trade, but a 90 caliber net to disengage. One No Name's going to be the next target here. The wall comes out. They're going to look for the Gluterland slow through Wei Zhao. He's revealed from the help picks. The wards get dropped out. He's still stealthing away. Bishu looking for the flash. Kenny Tornado. Okay, dashes on top of it, gets the knockup from the Wild Growth, and the ult to channel this one through, and just a few more crits, and he takes him down. And Bishu is 505. I don't know what area code that is, but he is unstoppable at this point.
And LMQ down 10 kills. Cloud9 Tempest up 10 kills, looking solid. 4K gold lead. They're just staying grouped up. Where is Glebe Larbu? That is my question. That is my question. The answer is everywhere. He has been all across the map. We've seen him roaming all around.
At all. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Well, who needs to go bot? Because Altec's been holding that decently. It's been more of a farm off, and he's still at that 50 CS disadvantage that he's been at for a while. But Glebe Garbu has just been everywhere, backing up his team, supporting them, and making sure that they're winning those 1v1s. And that's just been kind of the Cloud9 style of play right now. Like, Lomo Nation, aka Zuki, will 1v1 versus Ackerman, and Cloud9 knows they can back him up with Kaz, back him up with Glebe Garbu, and actually in that last fight it was Bishu who backed him up. And that's kind of been the story across the board. They have people all over the map. They are foregoing a little bit of CS, and so a little bit is going towards I believe Kha'Zix and Caitlyn right now. But the difference isn't massive, and they're picking up kills, they're picking up objectives and responses. Now ahead by one turret. That's not a massive lead, but that is something, and now Vasily caught out. Oh,
they flash forward to chase this one. He needs a little bit more. He does get the knock-up. It's going to be more showing up, though, to disengage that one, as they would have gone a little bit further if he was there. Wei Zhao actually using his jump to close the distance a little bit more. There's the snipe coming in. He's going to use his ultimate and the movement speed it gives him. Kev's looking to turn around, but with his ultimate down, he does not have that key to get the Yasuo ultimate to come in. There's 1 second left on Dragon. It does end up spawning. And we're going to look to see them 4-man this one while Yazuki split pushes a bit, keeps the wave pushing, and focuses Wei Zhao and No Name on him. Also, if 21 minutes in, Bishu has Infinity's Edge and Static Shiv already, snowballing so hard.
I mean, the entire team is backing him up. He is definitely ready to carry this game. He came in looking for it.
Oh, the flash from the Dragon's Ascent. The Giant Growth does not knock up, and neither does the Dragon's Ascent. They do actually force the flash out of more, though, and they will be able to pick up a tier 2 off that one, so focusing the objectives over the kills. Knockout comes in for the Tornado. Bishu does not go in that one, and that was a very smart play, but Ackerman doing the Jax thing where they split push all day and look for turrets as well as pressure inhibitors, and he will be able to snag a tier 2 out of that whole exchange.
And we'll see if Ackerman's parents calms down Spartan, because he has to play the split push game right now. He has to make that count. Does pick up a turret at least in response to that. But I mean, this is a hard gambit. This is sending Jax, trying to wait on Jax to become that unstoppable beast. But they're going up against a team with a lot of CC, a lot of damage, a lot of ways to burst down Jax and actually go through his Grandmaster's Might with the Wukong armor reduction. They can AoE down all of LMQ and then kind of not necessarily kill Jax in the meantime, but take him down low enough where he can't 1v3, 1v4.
Now that I think about it, the side of LMQ does have a very fast Baron. Jax, Kha'Zix shred right on through that one. We see Pink Wards coming in, though. There is the Sonic Wave. Glebe are going to tank it up and just get out of there as soon as possible after taking down that ward. Lucian finishing up the Trinity Force. Wukong with the Random's Omen now. So a lot of tankiness coming in from him. He actually didn't go Spirit of the Elder Lizard, which is interesting to me. And prioritizing that tenacity that comes in from that item.
And LMQ has 0 assists. They've only gotten the 2 kills. It was Ackerman having fun up at the top lane. And that's just been the style of gameplay. They have 0 assists, and they have no killer assist gold, but a whopping 9 deaths. between Lee Sin, Kha'Zix, and Annie. And a lot of it was just they weren't rotating, they weren't roaming together as a team, they were not ready to be grouped up compared to Cloud9 Tempest. And they're behind by 5K. That could actually be a much bigger lead because they focus a lot more on CS on the side of LMQ. So luckily that's kind of holding them back in. But still, if they're starting to roam now, going into AoE teamfights or even just any teamfight in general versus a Wukong Yasuo combo backed up by Shyvana and Lulu. And this could be the end of Weizhao, who does leap out, and that Cupcake will disable Shyvana for that one moment. Yeah, those cupcakes, too delicious.
We're going to look to see if he names himself Team Cupcake Nation. But they're kind of rotating towards Baron. There's a ping on it. They do have all the wards cleared out. There's really nothing else from LMQ. It's going to force them to extend in. We're going to drop his own wards, as well as make sure it's safe. Could be a bait. Looks like it's most likely going to be a bait. As
waiting over the wall.
Whoever comes in, there's the Dragon's Ascent and the Wire Globe. But Bishu was not in range for the ultimate. There's a kick to disengage that one and actually knock up. And it interrupts the culling. Ackerman is going to be the target. He's ignited. He gets taken down. Bishu is dominating at this point. Moore going to get knocked up. Double kill for Bishu. As this is why you don't let Yasuo through. If he gets Snowball in, there's pretty much no derailing this train.
Yeah, you do not let Yasuo through, and if you do, you make sure to get that AoE knock-up team. But, I mean, Cloud9 Tempest, we've seen them practicing this before. They're going to go for the Baron. There's nothing to stop them. I guess No Name, it's your chance to snipe. Pick up that rifle. You got to go for the Baron. He has to pick this up, but the wind wall will deny the resonating strike. All right,
Weizhao's actually getting shut down on the side as well. It looks like the Baron is going to be the target. The Ignite gets dropped. That's going to be enough to take down Weizhao, and there it goes. Weizhao falls. That's killing spree for Lomo Nation. Still waiting to see how he's going to do it, and no, Kevs is able to burst it down with the coordination of his team. The wind wall did not even block the resonating strike, but that's going to be a Baroned up Cloud9 Tempest as they go secure their buffs and maybe look to start sieging turrets now. They're looking very strong.
LMQ need kills, they need objectives, they need anything they can get right now. Right now, Bishu is alone by himself in the mid lane. This might be one of the few chances where someone's actually been alone over on the side of Cloud9 Tempest. And it's been so rough for them because I'd say normally Cloud9, they do tend to play a bit more of a lane, like I'd say predictable style of game. When it comes to roaming, when it comes to rotations, they definitely aren't quite as fast as they've been this game, which to me leads me to believe that they've been practicing for this specifically, and not necessarily holding back, but definitely focusing their game plans on, all right, how do we react to the LMQ style? How do we shut down Ackerman if he goes for that big old Jax? And it's been working out so well. Like, normally roaming, it's huge. Normally roaming and rotation is something that is a part of every team, but that has been the entire game for Cloud9, and now they're grouped up. Now the Tempest really is a brewing with that Wukong Yasuo combo, and I don't really know what LMQ are going to do to stop this. How can LMQ come back from this disadvantage?
Well, Vasily is still 0-0-0. It's not the start. If he starts picking up kills, he could be the carry that they need to kite out most of these fights. But with the flashes and the knockups that they have from the side of Cloud9, it's going to be really hard for him to escape. I don't know, really. Like, LMQ needs to rely on a really, I'm going to say, dumb dive from Cloud9. But that's like the only way they could throw.
But at the same time, Cloud9 Tempest, they're so strong. Yeah, Wukong is tanky with that Randuin's Omen, has a chain as well, so tower shots won't do a lot of damage. If Kez tanks a turret, it almost seems like they can just outright dive the turret right now. And as long as it's not some weird constant 1v5 dive, that they'll be able to survive the turret for long enough to actually either take an objective or win a team fight.
Yeah, as long as they don't single file in. If they don't single file in, I'm pretty sure they'll be able to win the fights really easily. And even if they do single file in, it's like, all right, knock up Bishu, come in, dash in from Altec, and, just whimsy from Robert to get into the fight. GH2 down bot is just given to them by LMQ, and they're going to rotate towards this bot inhibitor turret / inhibitor. Vasily is going back to base. Maybe he has his last whisper now. And that's a big power spike for him. They able to chunk through mostly everybody. Looks like they're going to rotate the dragon, get the easy objective gold, and then maybe go for top. And then it's just on to inhibitors from there.
Certainly a possibility. I would love to see them just pick up that last adder, like you said. And at that point, you can kind of force LMQ to be by the inhibitor turrets waiting for that big AoE team fight. The question is, are they confident enough? 2 Randuins now finished on the team. 1 going to be a Hun. Wait, 3 Randuins now finished on Cloud9 Tempest as the Infinity Edge kind of threw me off. And that's, not only is that a lot of mitigation, that's actually a lot of slow. So there are very few escape options if either Yazuki Cortez or Bishu make it to the enemy team, and with Dragon's Descent, with the dash from Wukong, and of course Bishu being, well, Bishu on a Yasuo, they're just not going to be able to escape.
So Wild growth is 45%, Brandon's is 35%, so that's 80% slow when they're stacked up together, when they're activated. That's, you're not getting away.
How do you feel about, I think with the diminishing returns, how do you feel about 150 move speed, maybe 120? I'd feel pretty pretty bad about it. And of course, how much damage is physical in LMQ? All of it except Annie and some of Jack's damage. And I guess Tempest is magic damage as well.
Yeah, Annie doesn't even have much AP, so...
Oh, cupcakes.
Ah, yes, cupcakes. Tempest Cripple's also AP. We do have an engage coming in. There was a talisman to disengage here. The flashes from everybody coming out. The Giant Growth, and that's all the knockups.
They missed everything.
That was a little awkward. But there's going to be a counter engage from LMQ. They're looking to go in. The Timbers did connect on the Bishu. They tried to target him out, but Lobo Nation going into the backline with Kevs. Take down Ackerman. They're chasing on to everybody else. Bishu is dangerously low at this point. Tornado comes up, but does not connect. So no knockup for that ultimate to secure itself. Oh, actually the blue trinket coming in from Alsec there to reveal out the ante. And with that, they're going to back off just a little bit. Bishu got dangerously low. He home guards. It's fine. And he'll be heading back to lane relatively soon, as it looks like they might be looking to push possibly this mid lane. There's a wave that's going to be pushing one Bishu gets down bot.
Yeah, and that was a team fight where it almost seems like they had to go for it. LMQ, you can't really fault them for initiating there because everything really didn't land. There was no ultimate from Wukong killing anybody. There was no Dragon's Descent Wild Growth combo. Everything missed, but unfortunately that is just how far behind LMQ are. And they might have been able to win that fight if it got into the turret and stayed underneath the turret, but just a straight up 5v5 kind of chase out like that was not going to work out in their favor. I mean, I think Cloud9 and Tempest, if they're going to give up a death, it'll probably be as they win the game.
True. Ackerman now, though, kind of getting caught out here. They will flash forward. Red buff's initiated. The culling comes out, and Altec on a killing spree picks up the kill with the culling, and now they're going to move right on to this inhibitor turret in the bot lane and lay into it. Should be able to take it down very easily. Moore is going to be the target there by Kevs. He gets stunned out by himself. Knockup comes in. Bishu falls on Dragon's Descent. Wild Growth all over the place. And LMQ going to get torn apart here. A nice Mikhails to save out Kevs from all the turret damage and the CC. So with that wind wall up, the inhibitor will fall. And we're going to see a rotation towards possibly mid after this one, as they are still relatively healthy. Baron kind of faded a little while ago. And maybe they're just going to steal blue and back out and heal and spend their money.
I mean, we're only 32 minutes in. Death Timer is still relatively short for LMQ. They're not the highest of levels right now. And, you know, with Baron up in only a minute, they can just go ahead, go back to base, buy on up, stay extra strong, and come back later. There's not really a huge rush. Of course, Ackerman does scale very well, same with Wai Zhao and Vasily, but they're not going to scale incredibly powerfully in the next minute or so. So if Cloud9 Tempest want to take this a little bit slower, kind of wait it out, buy more items as Lucian picks up an Infinity Edge, Wukong picks up a Sunfire Cape. I need to check this out. How much armor do some of the tanks have? 233 on Wukong. Yuzuki has 249. Bishu himself has 200. And for a mostly physical team without a Black Cleaver, that is so much damage reduction. They're doing a quarter of their damage when they land an auto attack, when they land a spell, and that's just, it's nothing compared to what Cloud9 can dish out with their kind of hybrid damage and a lot of their just insane bursts.
Sakwe not going to go for the Resonating Strike, as Lulu did not have enough time to clear out that ward. And we're going to look to see Baron spawn and be started up instantly as Gleek Glover and friends going to look to start off this. Ooh, Moore got caught out there by the tornado, but does not see the initiation from Bishu. They are trying to keep this one going. They have a pink one in the pit, but they do not clear out the wards. They force out a Talisman disengage from Moore, though, to keep Vasily safe on that side. And if this gets stolen away, this could be very, very dangerous for the side of C9. We do have No Name still waiting on the side. Tornado does not connect.
Are they going to go for it?
Looks for the ward, and actually they go over the wall instead. The knockup, all the ultimates. Wild Girl's going to interrupt a lot. Bishu is still getting taken dangerously low. Shutdown goes over to Vasily, who is kiting for his life. Flashes away. The calling of the well is not in range for Altec. They're protecting and peeling for Vasily as he does a ton of damage. Shutdown goes over to Ackerman now. Kevs is going to be his next target, but the Glitter Lance is going to slow him down. Snipe comes over the wall. Ackerman, what are you thinking? He does not have flash up just yet. Oh, can they do anything else here from the side of LMQ? Wage out was dangerously low. He was forced to back out, and so was No Name. But Baron still went over to Cloud9, as that was a 2 for none in favor of LMQ, but still with the Baron on Cloud9, it looks a little troubling.
Still quite in favor of Cloud9, but how do you feel about the almost double kill for Ardent Blaze at the end there? They won the fight in a sense. They did kill 2 members of the enemy team over on LMQ, but giving up the Baron's huge. However, it shows that they're not unstoppable on Cloud9 Tempest.
Nope.
They're unstoppable as 5, but that was essentially a 3v5 for most of the fight with Shyvana, Yasuo, and Wukong going over the wall with their dashes and movement skills. So if Cloud9 Tempest make that mistake again, if they go for what, like you called earlier, if they go for that over-aggressive, that in a sense dumb dive, Cloud9 will not be guaranteed to win this. LMQ, though, they're not going against the Baron up team. Baron buff is on, I believe, Kez, Altic, and Glebe Barbu, and that Baron buff on Kez what scares me the most, because that Wukong's just going to be ridiculously tanky. Bishu does pick up a Guardian's Angel.
Wow.
So much mitigation and defense over on Cloud9 Tempest, but LMQ, they've shown they could still fight back, at least in some regard, even if they do need the numbers advantage.
And with that fight, Vasily's looking to make towards his Infinity Zed, not going for defensive items at all just yet. Just looking to maximize all the output damage that he can. He also setting up that little zone with his traps. And gonna see where the next push is for Cloud9. After a fight like that, it's kind of makes you think like this game is still throwable. Any game is throwable, actually, for that matter. But the game is still winnable for the side of LMQ if they can hold out and let Vasily do his thing and kite away. It did take both of his summoners, though, to get away from last fight. So with those down, we'll see what he can do for this next engagement, as Kev's kind of walking over a ward there, but either way does not really care too much.
We've seen bigger goal differences in 15,000 and have come back, so nothing is ever locked into place. Bottom inhibitor has respawn as well, so Cloud9 might just go ahead, rotate down there, go for the easier objective than going for that turret dive. Their confidence is probably not shattered, but they're going to be playing a little bit more cautiously, most likely, trying to stay grouped up, trying to maintain their numbers, just in case something like what just happened repeats itself. Randuin's has been finished by Lee Sin, so a little bit of control, hopefully, to try and cut out and slow down some of the more damaging members of Cloud9 Tempest. No Infinity Edge yet on Caitlyn, who's going up against a almost 6-item Lucian, so it's going to be difficult to hold this inhibitor for sure.
He even has a Warden's Mail himself, so maybe looking for a Randuin on his side. The inhibitor is going to be the target. If the LMQ is going to go in, they
missed the chance. I mean, it's such a scary initiation. They still lost the fight when Cloud9 Tempest missed most of their skill shots and most of their AoE and knockups. So walking into the enemy team that does still have that available, and now that Bishu has that Guardian Angel, it's going to be so difficult for them to knock anybody down, really. I mean, LMQ, they're starting to get their item builds completed, like Triforce, Blood Ring, and now a defensive item that's almost been finished by Ackerman. But they just don't have any time, as this push to take out this turret, this might be the end of the game.
Whoa, actually he gets kicked back, but the knockup still connects. They're using everything on this next fight. It looks like McHale's to save Vasily, but it's not enough as Bishu dashes on top of that one. It looks like he's looking for the knockup out of Ackerman, and it looks like Altek actually falls that one down, picks up the kill, goes on a rampage. This should be game, actually. 50 seconds left on everybody that is big on the side of LMQ. Wage out trying to hold out for this one. Will get dashed in on. Altek does a ton of damage, crits him out, and that's going to be the Nexus turrets falling. They're going to go into more now, but they just back on off, go back to hitting the Nexus turrets, and that is going to be the third game of tonight, going over to Cloud9. Tempest with a very strong showing over the powerhouses in LMQ.
And the GGs come out. There goes the Nexus. This is the first win in quite some time for a team against LMQ. Cloud9 Tempest running